So in order to be able to create any Java applications or Java programs, you need an integrated development environment, that's IDE. And for those of you who have taken the C++ class or who are currently taking it, you know that for C++ we're using a Microsoft Visual Studio. Now, when it comes to Java programs, there are many IDEs out there. There's Eclipse, there's NetBeans, there's JGrasp. And so for this class, we'll be using JGrasp. And in order for you to successfully run Java applications in JGrasp, you need to also download the JDK, which is the Java Development Kit. And so that's why I requested that you guys go ahead and install JGrasp and the Java Development Kit. And so assuming that you've successfully installed your JGrasp, I'm going to go ahead and launch JGrasp and simply walk you guys through the steps of creating a simple Java applications, okay? And so once you launch your JGrasp, you're going to land on a window like this one. Let me go ahead and close this file and this file, yeah. So you'd land on a window like this. I'll recommend that you create a folder within which you'll be saving your applications because after creating an application or program, you need to email me the source code. And in order for you to be able to do that, you have to retrieve the source code from the folder in which you saved the code or the application. And if you don't know the folder, it's going to be a bit challenging for you to email that file to me. And so once you launch your JGrasp, there are 3 panels or 3 windows. The panel or the window on the left simply reflects the navigation pane, which will enable you to navigate to the folders or folder which you're using. And so in my case, it's going to be, I think it's going to be the fall folder. And then within the fall folder, I'll go to this course. And then on the right-hand side, there are 2 panes. This right is the development environment, the design window, I mean to say. This is the design window, and then this is the output. And so when it comes to you creating your application, it is within this window that you do the work. You create the application or write your statements. And then once you compile and run, you get to see the output or the results here. And so to create a Java application, you want to go to File, New, and then select the application. In this case, we want to do Java. Click on Java. And there's an active window prompting you to start writing your application. Now, when it comes to creating Java programs or writing Java programs, you always want to start by creating the class. And you may recall from the lectures or the lessons that a class is an instance of an object. In other words, a class instantiates an object. And so when it comes to Java applications, you're always talking in terms of classes. And the way you go about creating a class is simply by stating the class name. I do that with the statement public class. And so you always want to start, for the most part, you start a simple Java application with the creation of the public class. And for this very first activity, we're going to create a Java application which prints and displays the message, hello world. And so I'm going to start public. And of course, whenever you're typing your statements in JGrasp, the words which are known as reserved words will be highlighted with a different color. As you can see, a public, which is a reserved word, is somewhat blue. So I write public class. So in this statement, public class, the 2 words, public and class, are reserved. Whatever comes after the word class will be known as your class name. So I'm going to say public class what? Hello world 1. I'm using hello world 1 simply because I've used the class name hello world before. One of the things you're going to realize with your Java programs is that you cannot use the same class name for multiple programs, okay? And so again, as a reminder, once you have the 2 reserved words, public class, whatever comes after class is known as a class name. And again, you, the programmer, decide what the class name is going to be. It doesn't matter which name you choose, as long as you're consistent with it. So once you create a class, as we've done here, go ahead and hit enter, and then you have your open curly braces. What comes next is the method statement. And I think it's typed public static void main. That's the main method. Open parenthesis string square brackets open and close argument close parenthesis. Again, this statement here simply implies that you'll be using the main method. Hit enter, curly braces open. Okay. Next is simply an output statement, because all we want to do is print the message, hello world. And so we're going to use the print method. System dot out dot print line parenthesis open double quotation mark, and then we'll have the message we want printed out, hello world, exclamation mark, double quotation marks closed, parenthesis closed. And since this is a statement, we'll end with a semicolon. Now, just as in every other high-level programming language, for every opening curly brace, there's got to be a corresponding closing curly brace. And so because we have two curly braces open, we're going to have to close this statement. We're going to have two corresponding closing curly braces. So close, enter, close. And then you want to make sure that you save your program. So I'll go ahead and click on File, Save As, and I'll have to navigate to the folder within which I want to save this application. As I said, I'm going to go to, in my case, I'll go to 4/2020. Oh, let me go back. I want to draw your attention to something. Now, once you click on File and click Save As, for the most part, if your code is correct, if the code is fine, the class name, which is this right here, will be picked up as the file name. You see this right here? So it picked up the class name Hello World 1 as the file name. If there's something wrong with your code, for the most part, the IDE will not identify your class name. It will not be able to use it as a file name. So I'm going to run this and then come back later on, use another application and create an error for you to see that. So I'll go to, again, I want to be able to save this within the folder for this class. So I'll open that and then save. After saving, you want to go ahead and compile. To compile, you're going to use the green cross sign. Once you click on compile, you should look at the output window. And again, the compilation process is simply a process where you want the compiler to take a look at your program and make sure that there are no syntax errors. And so when it comes to compiling, all you're having to verify is syntax errors. You may want to recall the fact that the compiler does not detect any logic errors. The compiler simply detects syntax errors. So I'll go ahead and click on the compiler to compile the program. And again, the results will be here in the output window. So click on compile. The application is running. So it tells me JGraphs operation complete. What that tells me is that in as far as the syntax is concerned, there is no error. Okay, you only get to detect, for the most part, you only get to detect the logic errors when you run the application and realize that you're not having the expected output. So I'm going to now go ahead and run the application. And to run the application, you click on this red guy here who is running or jogging. And again, the output will be here. And so sometimes you may want to clear this window such that it's blank for you to see the new output. So I'm going to go ahead and click on run. And that is the output displayed, hello world. Okay, and so this is a simple Java application which displays the message hello world. So if I wanted to display the message, this is my first Java program, all I need to do is modify this output here. Change it to, this is my first Java program. Okay, and that will be it. Every time you make a modification or a change you want to compile, actually recommended to save and compile. So I'll go ahead and click on save, compile. That's the output. Again, it tells me everything is fine. And then run. It is true that a while ago I did say that for best practices, it's recommended or suggested that you clear this output before running. But again, you can do it without running. You can run your program without clearing this output. So I'll go ahead and run without clearing. And that's the new output. This is my first Java application. Okay, any questions this far?
No.
Okay. Now I'm going to create an error here such that the compiler detects that there's a syntax error and get to a stage where it's unable to use the class name as the file name. So what I'm going to do is I'll take off this semicolon, that's a syntax error. And I don't want to use this same class name. I'm going to modify the class name to hello world 2. Once I click on file, save as, no, it's giving me, let me do this. Let me go to a new window. So I'm just going to copy all of this, copy, file, new, Java. Do you see the new window? Are you seeing the new window with the hello world 2?
Where?
On your screen.
I can't see any window.
Okay. Do you see the application I have here?
Yes.
Okay. Do you see hello world 2 as the new class name?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Now I went ahead and created a syntax error in this application. Watch what happens when I try to save it. If I click on save, you see it does not pick up the class name as the file name. That indicates that there's an error, there's a syntax error. Actually, it indicates that there's an error somewhere. So I just wanted to demonstrate the fact that when you try to save your application and the IDE does not pick up the class name as the file name, it should draw your attention to the fact that there's an error somewhere. And in this case, there's a semicolon missing. So I'll go ahead and include the semicolon. And now once I try to save it, you see it picks up the class name and uses it as a file name. I just wanted to demonstrate that fact, okay? Any questions this far?
No.
Okay, so this is a simple application to print print a message. Every time I want to, if you just want to print a message or display a message, it will be something like this. Now let's assume that I want to create. I'm going to create Illustrator to create a simple application to add numbers or to multiply or to divide. I'll do one, and it is the same concept or principle. Now, every time you're going to create an application which involves multiple parameters, you'll be required to create variables. A variable is simply a memory location. In other words, a space or a location within your computer which is used to store or save the data which is being processed. And so let's assume that we want to create an application which adds 3 numbers and displays the sum. So we're dealing with 1, 2, 3 numbers. I'm also dealing with the sum. So we're dealing with 4 different objects. So in that regard, we're going to have to create 4 different variables. 3 variables for each of, well, 1 variable for each of the numbers, which we're going to add, and then another variable for the sum or the total. That gives us a total of 4 variables. And so to declare a variable, you have to use the data type. And when it comes to data type, we're simply referring to the type of data which will be stored in the variables we're creating. And that pertains to data types such as int for integer, double for decimal numbers, float. So there's int, there's float, there's double, there's, what else do we have? The char for character, and a couple of others. And so for this example, I'm just going to use the int data type, okay? So let's go ahead and change the file name to add. Well, let's leave it as hello2. So once you have the method declared, what you want to do is declare your variables. So the way you go about declaring your variable is you start by typing the data type, the name of the data type, and then the variable name. And of course, you assign the value to the variable, and you end up with a semicolon. So we want to create an application which adds 3 numbers, say 3, 5, and 8, all of which are integers. So we're going to do int for the data type. What comes next is the name of the variable, just as you do in C++. I'm going to use num1. It could be X, it could be Y, it could be Z. And then the assignment statement or symbol, and then the number, which is to be stored in this variable. So the number 3 is stored in the variable num1. You end up with a semicolon. Next is the next variable, int num2. I will assign the number 6. Did we say 6 or 5? Let's go with 5, semicolon. Next is the number, the variable, the third variable, in num3. And we'll assign the number 8 to it, semicolon. And then next we'll do create the variable for the sum. Int what? Int total, int sum. Let's do int total. And then you will assign the number of the number 0 to it. You may not be required to assign a number, but it's advised that you assign a number of, and again, you want to always assign the number 0. In this case, 0 is being used as a placeholder. And then now we're going to go ahead and write the equation to determine the total of all 3 numbers. And when it comes to the equation, we're simply going to use the names of the variables. So in this case, total equals num1 plus num2, plus num3. You end it with a semicolon. All what this statement implies is take the value stored in num1, take the value stored in num2, take the value stored in num3, add all 3 values, and assign the output or the outcome to this variable. And then our output statement, system.out.println, excuse me, we're going to say the sum of the 3 numbers is double quotation marks, and then after the double quotation marks, we're going to have to reference this variable total. And to do that, you use what is known as the concatenation sign, which is a plus sign, and you write total. So what does what this does is it's going to display this output statement and then display to us the value which is stored in this variable. Okay, excuse me. So we're going to go ahead and compile the program, compile to see if there's any error. What is it saying? Oh, we did not save this, sorry. I thought we had saved it. So I'll go ahead and click on File to save it. Go to my CISC 3340 folder. Open. So I'm going to save it here. Hit save. And then I can compile now. That's the output message. It tells me, in as far as the syntax is concerned, everything looks fine or clear, and then run. Now, we should expect to have the output what to be 8 plus 5 is 13 plus 3, 16. So that should be the expected output. So let's go ahead and run our application. And that's it right there. The sum of the three numbers is 16. Now, as you can see, there's no space between the word is and 16, okay? As a programmer, you need to fix that. I mean, you want to be able to make sure that whoever is using your program doesn't get confused between this sentence or statement and the output. So any questions this far?
No.
Okay. So if you understood what I did here for addition, you can do it for multiplication, area of a rectangle, area of a triangle,
Right.
perimeter. You can apply this concept to yes?
How do you think we could make a space between the is and the 16?
I'll let you try that. So give it a try. And if you don't succeed, get back with me next week, okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So any other questions?
So the other Java, what is it for?
Which other Java?
JDK.
Yeah, you have to install JGrasp. You have to, after you install JGrasp, you need to install JDK, and it makes it possible for you to run Java applications in JGrasp.
Oh.
So you need to install the two files in order to be able to run. If I had not installed, if I had not installed JDK, I would be able to type these applications, but I wouldn't be able to run the applications.
Okay, maybe that's why I didn't run, because the last time when I did it, but I added JGraph, but I typed something, but it didn't run.
Yeah. So then you want to make sure that you always select the Java application here.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll let you try the exercises, and if you have any questions, you can always get back with me.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
So all about it's too much work you give us to do. Due date. My head is about to blow off.
Yes, your head is about to blow, but it has not yet blown. I will not blow.
2 classes back to back. I'm still trying to do one. I'm trying to do one, then another one. It's just test, quizzes, test, quizzes, test.
Hold on.
Discussion. So every class.
Hold on.